What did you think when you saw that play and then that call get overturned?
Well, I don't know if it's the worst call ever that Rocco Baldelli was talking about, but I'm with Rocco Baldelli. I could not believe that he was in that conversation post-game. And if I could, let's do an on-air production meeting right here. I'm going to throw a little curveball at him.
All right, let's do it.
If we could throw that second page up there of the rule one more time. I know I didn't rehearse this, but I want to see that second page because I want to point something out.
Okay.
And then talk about Mr. Gary Sanchez. If the catcher blocks the pathway of the runner in a legitimate attempt to field the throw. Okay.
Yep.
Now let's go into the tape right here and let's look at what happened with Gary Sanchez. Because I believe Gary Sanchez was very aware of what was going on. Here's the play that happened last night, the play that's in question, the play that's being talked about. The throw to home plate. Whit Merrifield's coming. We see that he's out. Period. He's out. Now, what I want you to look at Gary looking down. He knows where he's set up. He's given him a lane. Now watch this catch and watch the throw come in and watch how Gary, he says, I gotta go. I don't want to go, but I'm coming in front of the ball. He moves to catch the ball and put the play on him. Now that play was talked about an awful lot. I get it. The next play, keep this frozen for me for a little bit, please. Okay, that's perfect right there. Because this happened in an earlier game. Detroit Rays, man on third, infield in, which is a very similar situation to a man on third and a fly ball to the outfield, right? So play it. We'll see the game speed, what happens. Javi Baez hits a ground ball. Shortstop throws to home. He's out because he's been out for 100 years like that. But now let's look. Okay, keep this frozen because on board one, it said if the guy has the ball. He doesn't have the ball yet. I purposely froze it right there. He does not have the ball. This foot, trust me, is in foul territory, which means Riley has no lane. Play it forward. Keep that frozen. That's the same shot I just talked about. Look at the ball, not in the glove. Look at the foot. There is zero place for Riley to go. The only difference is Riley tries to go outside, which gives it an appearance that I can make a play. He might be out by 2 or 3 more feet than Whit Merrifield was, but this is a very similar situation. Play it. We see Riley try to go to the outside, but there was no lane there. He's out. He rolls over. He goes to the dugout. Nothing is ever said. So I believe in this situation, moving forward, what happened yesterday in those 2 games, added 6 minutes to any game that happens moving forward where there is an out at home plate that there's going to be some sort of tag play on, because that dude or that dude's going to come out and challenge it. We're going to take some time.
Right.
They're not going to like the outcome because what I just saw right there, I think were 2 almost identical situations. One, the guy was out, one, the guy was safe.
Right.
One was challenged, one wasn't challenged. We will challenge every play at home plate moving forward, which I don't quite understand how that's going to work. I really don't. But I think those 2 situations, if anything, Gary Sanchez was more conscious about where he was setting up.
Right, and the thing about Sanchez, too, to your point, the rule says if the throw takes you into the lane, then that's legal.
That's my biggest issue with these 2 comparisons. With the infield in, when you pause the throw, Rip, that throw really didn't take him into the lane.
No, it did not.
You know, it wasn't a bad throw, but it was off his right shoulder. So even more reason why, A, first of all, Detroit should have challenged it. But B, when I first saw it, I was like, you know what, Gary Sanchez didn't give him a lane. But then you got to take into the fact that I think there's just too much left for interpretation and judgment within the scope of the rule. And that's the part I don't like. And I know the intent of the rule is so guys don't get hurt. It started with Buster Posey. But I think this kind of gray area where the throw can take you in, what's the runner supposed to do?
Right.
Well, okay, but hold on. But so if the catcher is blocking the plate and the throw takes the catcher over the plate,
he can run him over.
He can blow him
Correct.
Yeah.
He can.
Right.
But how is that runner supposed to know that they're going to judge that throw took him in? Like there are too many things that can happen. And for me, if the purpose is to have the game safe, The guy behind the plate has all the armor. You know?
Right.
So I would defer to, hey, ask Mike Scioscia how he felt. He blocked the heck out of the plate, but he knew when he was blocking, someone was coming in hard, there was going to be contact. I'm not saying that we should eliminate the rule. I think there has to be just a much more black and white concrete area. Rip, you did a cool thing with the fungo here.
Right. See,
if you go with the baseline.
I've been pointing this out since we've started this conversation.
Right.
Because you have to understand, come around here with me this way. Come all the way around here because I want to show you something. First of all, third base is 100% in fair territory.
Yep.
Home plate is 100% in fair territory. So, Mikey, if you're set up like where Gary Sanchez was, and that's about right, I have a little bit of a lane that I can look at. Just because if Mikey moves his foot over here a little bit more on the plate, now look at that. If this is a play where I'm coming from third base, right, directly, there is no lane.
Right.
To me, what has gotten carried away, if I'm scoring from second base and the runner's coming from out here, there seems to be that lane because it's the back part of the plate. So that high home job looks down and goes, well, look at all that distance. But then we lose sight when we get over here again. Because if I'm tagging up from third base,
or scoring
100%
on contact.
fair.
Or scoring on contact.
Right, because, and well, I'll take you down here further. Because if I'm infield in, like happened in the Rays-Detroit game, I take my lead in foul territory as a runner on third. If I do my timing with my walk step when I'm watching the ball delivered, I'm getting closer to the line when the ball goes to home plate. So if that ball's hit, like Riley did, he's running down this lane here. I do not have a lane if you're standing on this side. I don't care if you're set up in fair territory, the catcher. Home plate's in fair territory, the base is in fair territory. There's no lane.
Right.
So
Yeah.
unless we get to a concrete area, because I just showed you two plays where two people judge what a lane is, what a lane isn't. If you have to do the NBA no charge line and put like an arc in front of home plate and say at least have the catcher start out there, something's got to be a little bit more concrete because there's too much vagueness going on in the rule. Those two plays were very similar to me. One's overturned, one's not even challenged because Hinch is a catcher and he's going, dude's out.
Right.
Because he's just out.